Welcome to today's explainer. We're going to jump right into what is honestly the biggest hurdle in modern content creation. I mean, think about it. Every single day, we're just bombarded with scattered URLs, walls of text, and totally disorganized information. So, how do we take those disjointed, raw pieces of web data and actually transform them into a cohesive, vibrant visual story? How do we bridge that gap between cold, hard code and warm, engaging art? Well, it's a fascinating technical journey. It really captures the digital age perfectly. And today, we're breaking down exactly what this kind of transformation takes.
And that brings us to a perfect real-world example of this exact challenge. Listen to this specific request. क्या आप इन 3 लिंक्स से एक प्यारा सा colorful video तैयार कर सकते हैं? Or, translated into English, can you create a lovely colorful video from these 3 links? It's such a casually phrased question, right? But it absolutely nails what users actually want from their tools today. It's asking a system to take something incredibly basic, mundane even, and instantly synthesize it into this polished, engaging final output. It is the ultimate creative challenge. You know, this single conversational line beautifully highlights a massive modern dilemma. We are constantly trying to move from raw, unformatted data into a piece of actual visual art. Because let's be real, nobody is asking for more text to read. People want synthesis. They don't just want a dry summary, they want an experience. They want something lovely and colorful. It really speaks to that fundamental human craving to take the chaotic noise of the internet and just mold it into something beautiful, cohesive, and most importantly, easy to consume. But within that request, there's a very specific constraint that makes this incredibly interesting. Exactly 3 links. The user didn't say, here's some links or a bunch of links. They specifically said 3 or 3 sources. And 3 is kind of the magic number in storytelling, isn't it? You've got a beginning, a middle, and an end. It implies that there's just enough information provided to build a complete narrative, but it's constrained enough that the system has to be ruthlessly selective about what it synthesizes to actually create that final product. So those teen links are our starting point. Now, a link, by its very nature, is just a pointer. It's really just a doorway to a web page that might be completely filled with dense text, distracting ads, or just disorganized data. It is entirely unformatted material waiting to be molded. It has no rhythm, no pacing, 0 inherent visual flair. These multiple source links basically represent scattered thoughts that are just waiting to be connected. They are completely raw and unpolished.
Now, let's slow down for a second because the crucial point here is understanding the heavy lifting behind actual synthesis. We're talking about the process of taking those disparate source links and combining them to create, or tayar karna, a unified visual output. And that phrase, tayar karna, is key. It implies preparation, real effort, and crafting. Actually, scratch that. It's more like orchestrating. It's definitely not just copying and pasting text from a web page. Synthesis means reading the data, understanding the core message across 3 totally different sources, finding those common threads, and then structuring them so they make complete sense together.
It is so fascinating to look at the stark contrast here. On one side, you have the highly technical, raw input of source links, and on the other, the desired output of a vibrant video. We are literally asking a rigid, logical process to produce a warm, emotional, aesthetic result. The technical side is analytical and, let's face it, pretty dry. The output, however, has to be pyara sa colorful, lovely, and vibrant. This juxtaposition is the whole shebang when it comes to modern content creation. It's all about turning the invisible, structural data of the web into a highly visible, emotional experience. So, this naturally builds a clear 3-step pathway. Step 1 gives us the 3 source links. Those are our raw ingredients. And step 3 gives us the vibrant video output, the final presentation. But it's step 2, this synthesis process itself, where all that unspoken magic has to happen. That middle step is the engine of creativity. It's where the text is converted into a script, where visuals are dynamically generated to match the tone, and where the pacing is perfectly set. It maps out a really complex workflow, taking us all the way from simple URLs to a fully realized multimedia presentation. And wow, the aesthetic demands of this prompt are incredibly specific. The goal isn't just to spit out a basic, boring video. No, it has to be pyara sa. It needs to be lovely, endearing, something that genuinely brings a smile to your face. It has to be colorful, visually striking, completely shaking off the dull black and white text of a standard web page. And of course, it must be a video, a dynamic, moving medium that actually holds your attention. The user isn't just asking for facts and figures. They're demanding a specific vibe. They want the data to feel alive. Which brings us right back to the inherent challenge of automated synthesis.
The phrase तैयार कर सकते हैं, meaning can you create, is phrased as an open question. It's a test, really. Can a system truly understand what lovely means in the context of 3 random web links? Can it make the right editorial decisions on what to keep and what to cut to maintain that colorful, engaging tone? Tayar karna absolutely pushes the boundaries of what we expect from our everyday tools, turning a super simple request into a profound test of creative capability. So, what does this all mean? Are 3 links really all it takes to synthesize a truly vibrant video? Is that the exact threshold where raw data successfully crosses over into visual art? It's a massive, fascinating leap from a simple question to a complete dynamic creation. It really makes you wonder, the next time you look at a few scattered URLs, what kind of cohesive narrative could be synthesized from all that noise? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope it leaves you looking at everyday web links in a whole new, colorful light.